Hello everyone, this is your Produce Guy, and today we're out in the garden. We're going to plant some of these bean seeds that we brought in from High Mowing Organic Seeds. You know, I love these seeds, I love this company. Their focus on their breeding program is on varieties that flourish under organic conditions, and that's what I've got here, so I'm really excited to give these a try. Now, in order to get started, you got to first prepare your ground. Here in my garden box, we've just finished harvesting our sugar snap peas, and we've pulled the plants out. And now we're going to move forward with planting the next crop right in that same space of these blue cocoa beans. Now these are beans that will grow on a vine, up a trellis that we put in there. We'll also do our haricot beans, these small French green beans, but we'll get to those in a minute. Let's get started with these blue cocoa beans. Now what I've done to prepare the ground is, first, I've driven in some stakes to hold up my support. These are going to grow up a trellis, and so you need the support there for them, so I've got that in place already. Then I've broken up the ground because a little crust is formed on there from the rain we had earlier this week, and I added or supplemented the ground with some organic bone meal, which contains phosphorus for strong root growth, and some organic blood meal, which is high in nitrogen and will support great plant growth. So it's time for us to get planting. Now the square foot gardening method is what we're using here. If you would like more information on the square foot gardening method, please give me a thumbs up on the video, or better yet, leave a comment letting me know that, and we'll put one together that gives more detail about how you use the square foot gardening method. Suffice it to say here that under this method we are going to plant 8 of our bean seeds in each square foot. These are all marked off into 1 square foot. So we're going to plant these 8 seeds per square, and I'm going to do that in all 4 of the squares across the back of the box here. Now let's go and do our haricot beans. These are a little bit different because they're bush beans, not pole beans. We're going to plant these 9 to a square. 9 plants per square foot. So let me get my holes. And there we are. Now that the bean seeds are planted, the only thing left to do is to set this trellis here for the pole beans to climb up, get this in place, and then give the seeds a good watering. You need to treat them like you would a new lawn, where you water them several times a day. Not one watering, but multiple light waterings will keep that soil moist and let those beans sprout. Here are some beans that we planted previously. In the back are the red Swan Beans. You can see the big leaves there. They've been in the ground about 10-12 days, and they're doing very nicely. Right in front are my personal favorites, the yellow beans, and they've been in the ground just about 5 days, and they're already sprouting and coming up. We are now several weeks into our bean growing project here, and let's take a look at our progress. Right here are our haricot beans. Now these are one of the later ones that I planted, and yet these things are already 2 feet tall. I measured them just a second ago just to be sure. I couldn't believe it. They're 2 feet tall. They have these little blossoms about ready to burst forth. And when they do, that's when they'll start setting the beans. So these things are about ready to start coming on. Now right next to them here are our Dragon Langier beans. I planted them a little bit later. Unfortunately, these have been so vigorous, the haricot, that these guys are not getting quite as much sun as I had hoped, so we'll see how those go. They're getting some filtered sunlight, so hopefully they're going to go through a growth spurt and join these guys right here. Let's go take a look at the other varieties we've got. These are our blue cocoa beans. Now these set the purple pod beans, and they're also, of course, a vining bean, and you can see they're climbing right up here. In fact, I've got some that are over the top of this already. They've grown 6 feet, and I don't see blossoms beginning yet, but they will be here soon. As you can see, they're doing great. They're very vigorous. We'll have some delicious beans coming off of this one very soon. We've got two varieties right here. This is our yellow bean here in the front and our red swan bean here in the back. These red swans were actually the first variety that I planted, and they are the furthest along. You can see right here they've got these beautiful flowers. They've got a flower with a white and purple cast to them there, and they've even begun to set some beans. I've got some right over here that we can look at that. Those red pods on those beans there look terrific. So these are starting to come on. These others will be right behind them, so we will be ready for harvest anytime now. Our bean harvest is on now. These red swan beans are at maturity and ready to go. They are beautiful. They're at a tender stage. We're going to take them inside the kitchen and make something delicious with them. Our blue cocoa beans on the trellis are going crazy. It's like a green wall. They're just about to set beans. Right here next to our red swan are the yellow beans, and they've got flowers and blossoms all over them. They're going to set beans right away too, so we're going to be inundated with beans here in just a little bit. So we've got enough for dinner tonight. Now, by picking these beans, it actually encourages the plants to set more beans. So you want more beans, harvest often with your bean plants. I'm very excited to give these a try. First time I've ever had these. We're going to take them in the kitchen, and there'll be more beans to follow. We'll show you what to do with these in some of our upcoming videos. Thanks so much for having been with us. I am your produce guy, reminding you that fresh is best. Look forward to seeing you next time. Hello everyone, I am your produce guy. You know, growing up, and even as an adult, I thought the only way you could get cream of mushroom soup was by getting it out of a can, or maybe buying it at a restaurant. I had no idea you could make it fresh at home, and it's so easy. So that's what we're going to do today, is make some fresh cream of mushroom soup.